Boys, welcome back to a brand new video. And we've done these before, but since our last wheel setting video, so much has changed. The biggest thing, we got a brand new wheel. So I'm no longer using the Logitech G920. Lots of you have been asking. I use the Thrustmaster TX Leather Edition, and the biggest reason for my switch, there is actually two of them. The first one, it's a belt-driven system, so it's very responsive. You can feel the road a lot better. It's just easier to play, in my opinion. And the second one, it is so much quieter using this wheel because it's a belt-driven system and not gears. Those are my two biggest reasons for switching. And since we switched over, I haven't actually done a video with my updated settings, which I've changed quite a bit. The biggest setting I've changed is my wheel rotation angle. Last time I did this, I was still getting a bit better and practicing getting my rotation angle down and getting more comfortable. So since then, we've turned it up quite a bit. So I'm going to display in the beginning here how my settings handle while racing, if you can see it in the background. And then I'm going to go through my settings, explain why I have what I have, and then do a bit more at the end to just show off what those settings look like. And if you put in the practice, these settings could be good for you too. But right off the bat, they're probably, if you're getting brand new into simulation racing, these might not work for you, but I explain that. I explain which settings you should change if you're brand new based on your skill level. So it's a pretty in-depth video. I'm pretty happy with it. I'm going to stop talking now, enjoy the rest of this clip, and I will see you boys later. Alright boys, so I know I've covered my wheel a good amount of times, but the first thing, I always set a different custom wheel profile if I change my settings at all, in case I want to go back. It's super easy, so if I wanted to change that, I'd have to save because I've changed a couple settings, so I'm just going to save and continue. Now I've been on wheel profile 2, 3, and so forth. I'm going to stick on 1 because this is my main settings at the moment. All this stuff is pretty generic. It's accelerate, decelerate, left, right. You don't want to change any of that. E-brake, this is a little different for myself because I play on console, so the USB e-brakes don't actually work from what I've been told, so I haven't wasted my money buying one. When I switch to PC, I'll probably get a handbrake, but for right now, I actually set it to my clutch pedal because I find it works very well and it's very easy to initiate drifts. So if you don't want to buy an e-brake and you want to get into drifting, I highly recommend making this change. Or if you have a 2-pedal setup, what you can do, and this is something that some of my friends do actually, they take the brake and they'll set their brake pedal to be e-brake, and then they'll set like B button to be their actual brake, because if you're drifting, you're probably going to be using your brakes a little less than your e-brake. I don't know, that's just me personally, so you guys can follow it or you cannot. Switch camera, that's just my right paddle. Doesn't really matter, you can set it to whatever. None of the rest of these settings really matter a whole lot. Telemetry, look backwards, those are all set to whatever, but I'll show you guys the settings nonetheless. Most of the stuff is unassigned because I only have so many buttons. Anyways, let's get to the advanced settings of the wheel. Okay, we're back. Sorry, I pressed start on my controller and that takes you to my advanced controller settings, but these are the advanced wheel settings. Vibration on. Doesn't really matter though. For my wheel, it's a dual belt system, so I can actually feel different bumps on the road. For some wheels, it's not going to matter. You can turn that on, turn it off. Inverted look, obviously keep that off. These settings, I believe, come stock, so I'm just going to fan over them pretty quick here because yours should already be pretty similar to this. The clutch axis dead zone might be one you have to change. Make sure that's 15, and then the outside is 80. Those ones you might have to change, but everything else there should be pretty similar. My force feedback actually change almost daily, but I don't break outside of like 30 to 40 or 30, 35. I generally stay somewhere in there. This is one you're going to have to play with yourself because it's just whatever your preference is, how much you want the wheel to respond. I know some people that have the impression that zero force feedback is better. Those people have never used the steering wheel. You don't want zero force feedback. It's going to be impossible for you to drive or drift or anything because you're going to have no idea when you should start steering. So leave that at least above a 15. You don't really want to go below that level. Centering spring scale. This is a very important step for drifting. This is how fast your wheel is going to come all the way from the right hand side back to center. If you're starting a drift, I turn this up all the way because then it makes really quick and smooth transitions. On my G920, I kept it around a 150 though. So play around with that. If you're on a gear driven system, you might want it a bit different. You're gonna have to, again, focus on whatever wheel you have. You're gonna have to adjust that setting, but I keep it on a 200. I'm pretty happy with that. Damper scale, again, probably supposed to be 0, but I accidentally have it set to 2. Understeer 100, minimum force 100, and then wheel rotation angle I have at 900 degrees. Now, if you just got a steering wheel and you haven't played with it before, you're going to want to turn that down first, because if you start at 900 degrees, you're probably going to get frustrated, not want to play a lot. I started at 270 and I slowly bumped it up each day. I would go up by like 30 degrees. And then when you get around 540 to like 600, around there, you can just go straight to 900. It's very easy to make that transition. But start at 240, get comfortable drifting just back and forth. It doesn't look as clean, but like it only takes a couple weeks if you're starting at 240 until you're comfortable up at 900. That's what I recommend. Those are my settings. I drift pretty well in them. I'm going to display for you guys in just a minute how they work for me, how I drift in them. Anyways, if you enjoyed this, if this was helpful for you at all, drop a like down below. If you're still watching in the video, you found the hidden word, let me know. I know I've made wheel setting videos before, but I changed my settings so fast and lots of you guys are always asking, so I wasn't on a 900 rotation angle the last time I made one of these videos. Now I am. Anyways, I'm going to show you what these settings look like. Thank you for watching. We'll see you tomorrow. Stay sexy. Peace. Alright boys, so I know I said my goodbye for the video, but I figured I'd actually take the time that these clips are playing to kind of explain how I drift, because I've given you the settings, and the next question I get is, how do you drift on wheel? And I don't know if you can notice it in these clips, but I'm actually only using the gas half the time. Throttle control is the most important thing when it comes to drifting, at least in Forza. I can't speak for other games because I don't play other games as much, but what I found is using the gas just a little bit, and then e-brake. I'm e-brake sliding most of these turns. I don't know if that makes it bad, but at least it looks a bit cleaner and it's more controlled when I'm using the e-brake a lot. Now, I know for a fact that when lots of people hop on a steering wheel in a simulation setup, what they like to do is they have their foot on the gas all the way down. And although that's useful sometimes, you rarely ever want to be doing it. In fact, you'll notice I keep my RPMs pretty low and I don't redline very often. If I do, it's just because I'm trying to hold a long turn. But if I'm in a short turn like I was there, I'm just feathering the gas. This is a bit of hopefully useful information. I could go more in depth if you want that. Let me know down below. But at least from what I found from drifting on simulation, that's my best advice. Anyways, that's it from me. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.